So, what happens when you put a pure, out-of-the-box visionary in the same room as the ultimate, get-it-done pragmatist? Well, in the case of Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison, you get a spark that ignited a rivalry that would literally electrify the entire world. Today, we're jumping right into the explosive, brief partnership that started it all.
You know, the heart of their huge falling out, the thing everyone talks about, is this one story. It's a story about a broken promise, a moment of what felt like total betrayal that would pretty much define their relationship forever. And it set the stage for a technological showdown that shaped the very world we live in today.
Okay, so you gotta picture this. It's 1884. A 28-year-old Nikola Tesla, his head just buzzing with these revolutionary ideas about electricity, he lands in America with basically nothing. 4 cents and a letter of introduction to the most famous inventor on the planet. In Edison, he sees the talent right away. He hires Tesla on the spot to work at the Edison Machine Works and gives him a huge task: fix the company's notoriously inefficient direct current, or DC generators.
Now, the incentive here was massive. According to Tesla, anyway, he was offered a $50,000 bonus if he could actually pull this off. To give you some perspective, that's way over $1 million in today's money. I mean, for a young immigrant engineer, that is a life-changing amount of cash.
And you know what? He did it. Tesla worked around the clock, basically redesigning the DC generators from the ground up. And the results were just incredible. He didn't just make a few small fixes. He delivered these massive improvements that saved the company an absolute fortune. So, feeling pretty proud of himself, he went to Edison to collect his reward.
And this is the moment the whole legend turns on. According to the story that Tesla told years later, Edison didn't just say no. He supposedly laughed it off, telling Tesla he didn't get their American humor. Now, for Tesla, this wasn't just about the money. It was a massive insult to his work, to his honor. He was so outraged, he quit right there on the spot. But is that really the whole story?
The popular legend, it paints a really simple picture. Brilliant visionary gets betrayed by a greedy businessman. But the historical record? Well, like it usually is, it's a lot more complicated than that.
So here's the thing. That dramatic story about the American humor, it only came out way, way later in Tesla's life. At the time he actually quit, there's nothing about it in his personal journals. In fact, some historians think that if an offer was made, it might have come from a company manager, not even from Edison himself. For a while after he left, Tesla still seemed to admire the man who he would later call his biggest rival.
And this gets us to the real heart of the problem. That whole money dispute, it wasn't the actual issue. It was more like the final straw. The real problem was a much deeper divide, a fundamental clash on how to even invent things in the first place. These were two geniuses just operating on completely different frequencies.
This comparison just lays it all out perfectly. Edison was the ultimate hands-on guy. His method was basically brute force. Try everything, fail 1,000 times, and eventually something will work. It's perfect for creating a product like the light bulb. But Tesla, he was a pure theorist. He would build and test entire complex machines perfectly in his mind before ever picking up a tool. That's how you get paradigm-shifting breakthroughs like his alternating current motor.
Edison's whole philosophy is wrapped up in this one famous quote. For him, invention wasn't some magical flash of insight. It was just hard, grinding work, finding the one thing that works by trying thousands of things that don't.
And here's Tesla's response to that. It's pretty brittle, right? He looked at Edison's trial and error method and thought it was just incredibly wasteful, almost painful. He was convinced that if you just did the math and the theory up front, you could skip all that wasted effort. So you see, one guy trusted his hands, the other trusted his mind. They were never going to last. So after Tesla storms out of Edison's lab, his path was not easy. His first shot at his own company totally failed, and this brilliant world-changing mind ended up at rock bottom, literally digging ditches for $2 a day just to survive. But that hardship, it just hardened his resolve. And it was from that low point that he found new investors who actually believed in his vision for alternating current, which led to a game-changing partnership with George Westinghouse.
And that alliance with Westinghouse, that's what really kicked off the whole rivalry. It was basically a declaration of war. You had Tesla's revolutionary AC system backed by Westinghouse going head-to-head with Edison's established DC empire. This wasn't a personal argument in an office anymore. This was a battle for how the entire world was going to be powered.
Their short, fiery time together was really just the beginning. And while they were a terrible match as co-workers, the collision of these two brilliant minds, the relentless pragmatist versus the soaring visionary, is ultimately what electrified our planet. It leaves you wondering,
In a world that needs both groundbreaking ideas and the tireless work to make them real, which one matters more? The person who dreams of the future or the one who builds it, one piece at a time? Maybe the real genius is found somewhere in the sparks that fly between the two.